Xandire and her fellow Stormcast delve deeper and deeper into the depths of the Wintermaw, the astral compass she carried telling them that they were close to their goal. As they moved faster than any warrior in such heavy plate should be able to towards the ancient storm vault they had come to investigate, an epic howl of violence and challenge reverberated all around them. Giant meteorites of iron and green flesh fell down from above, surrounding the Stormcast on all sides, leaving craters in the snow-covered earth from their brutal impacts. As the Oryx bellowed their challenge, battle was joined in Warhammer Underworlds, Wintermaw. In today's game, we'll be playing a Rivals format game of Warhammer Underworlds. This is a really fun format of Warhammer Underworlds and great for beginners getting into the game. What this format does is it allows you to play with set pre-built decks. This can either be the Rivals format deck that you'll get with a Warband, such as Daggor Stablers have their own Rivals deck that they come with, but you can also use other Rivals decks as well, as there's a variety of different Rivals decks that can be used by all Warbands in the game, and even the older Warbands from seasons in which did not include a Rivals format setting. In today's game of Warhammer Underworlds, I'm going to be playing with the Xandire's Truthseekers Warband. First fighter in this warband is Xandire. She's a level 1 wizard with 4 health, and a blazing purity reaction means when she's taken down she can actually heal a nearby friendly. To inspire her, she has to have one other friendly fighter out of action other than Taros, and this does boost up her power in combat when she inspires, getting cleave on her melee attack. Dora's Giant Fell is next. His Blazing Force reaction allows him to push an enemy fighter 2 hexes when he's taken out, and you can also inspire him the same way as Xandire. He does have Stagger by standard with his Great Hammer at a whopping damage 3, and when he inspires he'll get a Whirling Hammer power which has the Scything rule. The last of our 3 Stormcast is Luxa Stormrider. She has 3 for her movement and then also 4 health as well. Now she does have her Stormcaller bow, which is a 4 hex range. She inspires the same way as the other 2 Stormcast, and Blazing Reprisal means after this fighter is dealt damage that takes her out, she can make a bonus ranged action. When she inspires, she does get the Crushing Impact as well, able to charge into enemies, and she gets Cleave and Ensnare on her Stormcaller bow. Lastly, we have the faithful companion of Xandire's Truthseekers, Taros the Bird. He only has 2 health, but he does have a movement of 5 hexes. Not too much to write about in combat, but he does inspire whenever Stormrider inspires. So if Stormrider's alive, one of your other Stormcast is taken out, it will inspire. The model, as you expect, has that flyer rule as well, and gets Grievous on his beak when he does inspire. For our game today with Xandire's Truthseekers, I'm going to be using one of the Rivals decks, and it's going to be the Paths of Prophecy Rivals deck. Stephen today will be playing with Ironskull's Boyz in our game. Leading Ironskull's Boyz is Gurgaz's Ironskull, a whopping 3 damage with his melee attack, 5 health as well, making him quite a solid fighter. And the fighter does inspire whenever they've suffered damage. When the model inspires, his boss chopper allows him to re-roll 1 dice when this fighter makes the attack action. Next up we have Bone Cutter, a 2 damage attack as well, 4 health, and suffering damage is how this model inspires as well. When it inspires, it goes to a nice solid damage 3 on that melee damage profile. Hacker is the 3rd member of our warband, and his choppers, if you roll at least 1 critical, the attack action will gain Cleave. Inspires the exact same way, though only is damage 1. The model, when it inspires, does go up to a nice damage of 2, and also gains an extra dice to roll in their attacks. Lastly, we have Basher. This model has the ability to get knockback if it gets criticals, and it inspires the same way as our other fighters, also gaining an extra damage and extra dice on its close combat attacks when the model inspires. In today's game, Steven's going to be playing with one of the Rivals deck as well. He's going to be using the Rhymeworm's Bite Rivals deck. And so we are all deployed down on the table. So to start with, I've got Xandire down here, Taros, Luxa Stormrider, and Dora's Giant Fell down there. Meanwhile, in the center there, Stephen has Gurag Ironskull. You've then got Bone Cutter next to him, and on the far flank you have Basher. On this hand, you have Hacker. Today's video is brought to you by Waterfront News and Lotto, located in Devonport, Tasmania. They stock a wide variety of Games Workshop D&D, Star Wars Wargame and paint products and so much more. You can follow the link in the video's description to check out if they've got something for you today in their store. And so, party for round one. This is for Xandire's Truthseekers. I got a support, double support. Stephen, meanwhile, for Ironskull's lads, will get a double support. So, it's going to be priority for... Ooh. Alright, so, yeah, I'm going to choose to give Ironskull's boys the first activation for the game. Alright, so Stephen's first action of the game, you're going to go in with Bone Cutter. Yep. I believe his name is. Into Dora's Giant Fell. Are you needing hammers or swords?
Hammers.
Hammers, going for a charge super action. 2 hammers, so that's 2 successes. I have 1, so essentially I'm needing a crit here, and I get it. Alright, so after that, Stephen's going to play Unstable Footing. This is a domain card and will persist until the end of the round or until another domain is played. After a fighter makes a super action, you have to stagger the fighter, and if that fighter is staggered, you deal 1 damage to them instead. My first activation, I'm just going to make a move action with Xandire, moving her up to there. So Stephen's then going to play Engulfing Swallow. So first of all, you need to pick an empty hex on the board. Where are you going to pick?
There.
There? Cool. Alright, so you're placing it like so. So first of all, scatter for the first time. For that, so go to there. And then scatter for the second time. Crit will go back to there. It then deals 1 damage to everyone within 1 hex. Unfortunately, no one's within a hex, so it won't do anything this time. Alright, Hacker will then make a charge into Xandire, and you do stagger due to your unstable footing. But, let's go, see what you can get. That's a crit, so I need to get a crit in response to that to stop it. So, I do not, that is a shield damage.
Damage is 1.
Alright, so in the search phase, I'm going to score this, Held in a Bloody Fist. I score this if 1 or more friendly fighters are holding 1 or more objectives. 1 or more of those friendly fighters have 1 or more wounds on them. So, thank you for that. Alright, I'm going to make a charge with Luxa Stormrider next. She is going to attack your fighter here. I'm going to get supports from Dora's, so I need hammers. That'll just be 1 success. And so defense.
I need a shield.
No, that's a support, so 1 damage. I will then use the game deploy Tread the Path. I can choose a friendly fighter, and that fighter makes a move action equal to the number of objectives I hold, so 2. So we're going to move Taras up here. Your boss is going to charge into the burb. Alright, so needing hammers. That's a crit, so I need a crit in return. Dodges, nothing. Damage.
Damage is 3.
Yep, that just takes Taras right out. Right, you're then going to spend your glory and you're going to play Tough Enough. You can't give this to a large fighter, but you're going to give it to Bone Cutter. The fighter cannot be dealt precisely 1 damage unless that damage would take them out of action. I'm also going to play an upgrade called Unhallowed Order. While this fighter is holding an objective is considered to have a value of 6. You have to break this card at the start of the round, or you can break it with a reaction. So I'm going to give that to Xandire. And into my third activation, Doraz is going to make an attack. So Doraz has 2 dice for attacks. He needs hammers. That's a crit. So you need a crit in response. That is not, that is 3 damage and you are staggered. And so yeah, that will take out Bone Cutter. Just making a move at the back there with Basher as your last action for the round. And so I will then score this immediately after your activation step. I score this immediately after an activation step if the value of the objectives your warband holds adds up to a number greater than the number of surviving fighters. Because Xandire counts as being standing on a 6. 6 and 3, 9, more than there are fighters on the battlefield. And so my last action of the round will be Xandire. She is going to make an attack action. 3 dice. She needs hammers. Can reroll one of them. I'll reroll the cross swords. for just a crit, so a crit will stop me in return.
Come at me?
Yep, on Hacker. Nope, that's not going to be enough. That is 2 damage. And so, because it did damage, you will inspire because of that. But we go into the end of the turn, and I'm going to score Portents of Doom. I score this in the end phases. The value of the objectives your warband holds is precisely 9. I've got a 3 here, and then Xandire counts as being on a 6, so that is precisely 9. So priority for turn 2, this is for Xandire to begin with. I got a single support there. Stephen, meanwhile, probably gets a support and a double support again, so you're going to get the choice.
I'm going to...
Alright, so straight away you're going to go and attack into Xandire there with Hacker.
Cross swords?
Yep, needing cross swords. Nothing on that. You're then going to play Re-Emergence, essentially grabbing back one of your domain cards. I'm then going to play Sucker of Certainty. I can choose a friendly fighter and heal 1, so I'll remove Xandire's damage. You're then going to play Unstable Footing, which just came back to your hand. I'm then going to play the upgrade of the Helping Hand on Dora's Giant Fell. And my first action is just a move with Dora's Giant Fell. That will be that. You're then going to make a move action with Basher. I'll then make a second move action with Dora's Giant Fell to pop him on the objective there. Yep, so your Ironskull is going to go in and attack Xandire, needing hammers.
A hammer and
one.
double support.
So just a hammer there. Defense for Xandire is on single. Nothing, so damage.
3.
3, ouch. End of that though, I'll have Hanging On. I score this immediately after an opponent's activation step. 1 or more friendly fighters are each holding an objective in enemy territory, and they have 2 or more move tokens on them. Dora's certainly has that. Then you're going to play Heaving Ground. This is a domain card. It will replace your other one that's already active. After an activation step in which 1 or more staggered fighters are driven back, you deal 1 damage to each of those staggered fighters, and this will persist until another domain gambit is played. And then you'll score immediately Ruinous Aftermath. You score this as a result if a domain card was discarded as a result of another domain card being played. You're going to play the upgrade of Up for a Fight on Basher. It's going to be +1 dice to the fighter's attack actions if they're a persisting domain. Alright, Basher's then going to make a charge in, so this will be supports and double supports now. Counting. Double crit, there's nothing I can do about that. I rolled a double support, and that will see Xandire go down. Now Xandire does get to heal 2 to a friendly fighter when she's destroyed, but there is no one to heal. However, that does mean that both Luxa and Doraz will now inspire. You do gain a glory for killing Xandire. So my last action is going to be the Helping Hand. I can pick 2 feature tokens and essentially swap them around. I've chosen to swap objectives 2 and 4 around. And that is my action for the round. And so, end phase, I'm going to first of all score a Sign from the Gods. I score this end phase if your warband holds objective 3, which I do. And then I'm also going to score a Dire Omen. I can get this if I hold objective 5, or if I hold objectives that completely equal 5, hence 3, and the 2 that I swapped to.
Today's video is sponsored by Easy Roller Dice. Fantastic quality, easily legible dice that make your games quick and easy. Easy Roller Dice also sell other accessories for your dice, like dice trays, cases, bags, and cups as well. Use the code SINFULGAMING to get 20% off your next order and help support this store and the channel.
So, priority, this is for Xandire. I got 3 double supports, so critical support sees you get priority. No, I will win priority. And so, Xandire, I'm going to take the first activation, and I'm going to activate a shooting attack with Luxa. And so, yeah, we're going to go at Ironskull. So 3 dice. We are needing hammers. That is a crit and a success. So not much you can do about that. Nope. That will be 1 point of damage. I'm then going to play in constant predictions. I can choose up to 2 friendly fighters and give each of those fighters a guard token. Then have to stagger all other friendly fighters, but I don't have any other friendly fighters to stagger, so they both get a guard token. I'm then going to play in nude to hardship. This is an upgrade, and this is going to go on Ironskull. When you give this upgrade to a fighter, you heal 1 that fighter, and if that fighter is large, give him guard token. However, at the start of the round, you heal 1 this fighter unless that fighter is large, and he's not large, so he'll be healing every round. Not that there's any more rounds, but it allows him to heal 1. So you're doing an attack now with Ironskull. So hammer, we'll see. You can reroll 1 offensive dice. And that'll just be 1 success. Now looks as Storm Rider has 2 defense dice now. And because I'm guarding, shields or hammers succeed. Alrighty, so 2 shields, that succeeds in a defense. And so after that, I'm going to immediately score prevention over cure. I score this immediately after an opponent's activation step if there are more enemy fighters out of action than the number of objectives held by each enemy warband. You don't hold any objectives, and you got 1 warband fighter out of action, so I score it. And then after that, I'm also going to go slinking in there. I can choose a friendly fighter and push them 1 hex, or if the chosen fighter, I can push them 2 hex if they would push them onto an objective token. It wouldn't, but I am going to push them 1, just to there. Then going into my turn, I'm going to make a move action onto there. And then I'm going to play the upgrade Watchful Eye, and this is going to go on Doraz. You're also then going to play the right bait. So who's going to take it? Hacker. Yep. And then obviously the enemy fighter will be Storm Rider. I'll then play Bursting with Power. I can pick an objective token and roll 1 magic dice for each fighter within 1 hex of that token. On a lightning bolt, deal 1 damage. So why not? We're going to do it over here. Roll a magic dice for him. Nope. Hacker is then going to go into Storm Rider Inspired. Hammers or cross swords? Cross swords. Support will succeed with 1 because you supported here. So I now need shields. Nothing. Damage?
2.
Alright, so Storm Rider is then going to attack Hacker. And so, let's see, we need cross swords. That is a crit. So you need a crit to nope. That'll be 2 damage on Hacker. So Basher is going to go next. That's a crit.
And a cross sword.
So I need a crit and success to cancel you out, which I do not get. That'll take Storm Rider out. After that, I've got my last action, which will just be to move Doraz over to there. And you've got 1 last action to complete after that. You just make a move action with your last action of the game. So we go into end phase. My Watchful Eye is going to allow me to modify the objective by 1, which means I'll turn it to a 6, which is score written in the skies. Your warband holds a objective with value of 0 or 6, and that's now a 6. And Stephen at the end of the game will also score corralled like sheep because all enemy fighters are in the same territory.